Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to all of you for our annual town hall meeting. Thank you all so much for coming. And as usual, I've got quite a bit to cover, so I'm going to jump right in. As in the past, my agenda for the meeting will begin with some of those that I want to thank. I'll touch on some of the challenges we faced this past year, and then I'll state some of my personal goals relative to the clubs. I'll then review survey results with a comparison to each of the past 2 years, some details relative to every amenity, also discussing what action items we took based on last year's survey comments and what we need to address in the coming year. I'll go over this past year relative to all of our amenities and services leading into a look towards 2025 in all of our areas. I'll then touch on the several membership and programming changes for 2025 and show a comparison to some of the competitive set for golf and our other amenities. And then, of course, I'll leave time for questions. Okay, to start, I have a few thank yous to those of you who helped make the club a special place. And it starts with all of you. Your support, suggestions, observations, and feedback are also very helpful to me and to our team. I really do my best to listen, and with more than 6,000 members, when you include spouses, you can imagine the number of emails that I get every week, and knowing that number increases dramatically when my update letter goes out each month. I do my best to try to answer all the emails that come my way, and if I haven't, believe me, it's more of an oversight than an intent to ignore occasionally. If I don't get to it, I do get a reminder, and I will get back. My answers, I do my best to be as honest and transparent as possible, even though my answers at times may not be exactly what you want to hear. But I trust that you'll appreciate my honesty and respect respect that rather than me trying to appease you and then not being able to deliver. I also want to recognize the membership for the givers that they are, that you all are. I may not be telling you something that you don't know, but the kindness and the generosity that our membership and residents exhibit is beyond impressive. I can't imagine another community that makes it their job to give back and to support so many worthy causes. It's one of the things that really makes St. James a special place. Groups like the Service Club and all the members who support military appreciation and veteran organizations are so outstanding. I want all of you to know that we, Troon, the clubs, also do our best to give. And just this past year, Troon gave the equivalent of more than $100,000 to various charities and organizations, highlighted by more than $63,000 combined given to the Wounded Warrior Project, Military Appreciation, Stop Soldier Suicide, and Tunnels for Towers. And the equivalent of nearly $22,000 to Little Pink Houses of Hope to help the families of breast cancer victims. On a side note, more recently, I want to let you know that we collected the equivalent of $2,500 in products from the clubs, and we shipped them to those in need in Western North Carolina as a result of last month's storm, Hurricane Helene. Our committees. They help to guide us as a management team. They too take feedback from members and try to get a feel for what the membership wants. In fact, there are plenty of times that we ask the committee members to ask friends and acquaintances for feedback on a particular issue as we work to make an educated and informed decision. The advisory committee is chaired by Tim Hogan and is comprised of the 3 committee chairs: Sport by Andrea Velez, House by Mike Rabideau, and Golf by Jim Frudenberg. And up to 2 other members of each committee are on the advisory. You can see from the slide the different members of the advisory committee and then the various committee members. Meetings are normally held monthly for all 3 committees, with advisory and executive alternating months. The executive committee is comprised of the committee chairs, the POA president, Bill Len, myself, and that's the executive committee. The minutes for these meetings can be viewed on the club's website. This past year, we also had several subcommittees and ad hoc committees. We had the Green Committee chaired by Jim Wells, and the Handicap Committee chaired by Rich Hamilton. Green Committee's been helpful in not only talking through course conditions, but in communicating to the membership all things golf course maintenance. Thank you again to Jim Wells and his committee as we look forward to continued involvement with them. We really do our best to pay attention to member feedback, and we are more than willing to make changes if it's in the best interest of the members and our operation. And the most recent example of that is our decision to keep the Founders and Players Club pools open another couple of weeks, since the weather forecast is good for the next 10 days. We couldn't keep Seaside open because we've got to get ready for this week's puppy plunge. A huge thank you goes to the Troon Associates. During our normal peak season, we employ as many as 300 associates. In fact, this past year, we hired 90 different associates during the course of the year. Finding quality staff continues to be a huge challenge, and it really remains our biggest challenge. I feel thankful and fortunate to have the team and family of staff that we have. Their commitment, loyalty, dedication, and hard work that they've exhibited not only this past year but over the course of my 7 years has been remarkable. They've done and they continue to do everything asked of them, and they truly make or break the success of our operations, and they are a huge reason for the successes that we enjoy. I talked earlier about you, the membership, and your generosity being one of the most special things that stands out here in St. James. The staff are the other thing that really makes the clubs so special, and I can assure you that their efforts are greatly appreciated. My management team. Having been here now for 7 years, I still feel fortunate to have such a professional, qualified management team in place. And still to this day, there's been very little turnover in the management team. I give them tremendous credit for working with my management style and performing as well as they do. That said, we lost a big piece of our management team this past year as my assistant Dave Flinchbaugh retired. Losing his 18 years of history and experience has been a major blow, but he certainly did earn his right to retire. I can tell you that I still stay in touch with him, and occasionally he still provides me with a little bit of the history and the guidance that he had provided before. So while his position has still not been filled, it will be. We've taken our time to determine what attributes we want and need the most to assist me and the rest of our team to deliver on the experience that you all expect and deserve. I can tell you this, we will be looking for someone that will be visible throughout the clubs and will also have some experience on the hospitality side, in food and beverage, hospitality and a service background. The plan will be to post this position early next year and have somebody in place by March, April. The rest of my stellar management team includes our Director of Agronomy, Dustin Strickland, in the back. Dustin's been with us for 7 years in this position. Our Director of Golf, KJ, Dave Kiomi, been here with us for 26 years. Director of Food and Beverage, Lindsay Krause, 16 years, and many thanks to Lindsay for helping to coordinate the PowerPoint, because some of that stuff is a little bit beyond me. Executive Chef Pete Holderide's been with us for 6 years. Our Controller Tammy Stevens-King's been here 20 years total, but now she's been in her role as Controller for the last 5 years. Our Membership Department, our Director of Membership Sales, Chantel Piagione, been with us 7 years, and our Director of Member Relations, Brandy Donnelly, and she's been in her role now for 2 years, but she's been with the club for 21 years. Her role is to assist current members with any membership questions, but also to work with all department heads to create a robust schedule of activities in all of our various amenities. And while they represent the executive management team, we have such a great and talented secondary management team. Superintendents on the golf courses, our golf pros, our chefs, restaurant managers, banquet managers, tennis pros, our athletic director, heads of maintenance and landscaping, housekeeping, HR director, communications director, and our director of recruiting. Thank you all for helping make my job easier. Troon Corporate. Troon continues to be the largest club management company in the world for good reason. And while I may be biased, I can say that they really are that good. Honestly, I and we would not be able to do everything we do without all of that support. And with the continued growth of Troon, my boss is now Troon's Executive Vice President of Owned and Leased Assets, Alex Elmore. This past year, I've called on their expertise more in some areas than others. And we've had visits from my boss, Alex, and his right hand, Tony Chansey. Corporate agronomy visited us early in the year, late spring, to view the course conditions after overseeding reserve and players. We've also had multiple visits from Troon Corporate F&B and Real Food Hospitality Strategy and Design. In addition, during the past year, we've called upon corporate specialists in human resources, course design, finance, insurance, IT, membership and marketing, risk management, and procurement. All so very helpful to what we do on a daily basis. Every year we face challenges. Some are the same and some are new. So with these challenges, I'd like to think that we attack them so that we can improve the member experience in all areas. This year, our biggest new challenge was determining what exactly our membership wanted relative to food and beverage, and what specific identities do the members want to see in our restaurants, and then, of course, executing on the rebranding of those restaurants. As I referenced earlier, staffing is a recurring challenge and one that's improved in terms of finding staff, but it remains difficult in terms of finding the quality of staff that we expect to help deliver the quality product in all of our amenities that you expect. While we seem to be in a better position in terms of getting staff, the biggest goal now is getting the quality of staff, improving on the quality that we get. We did experience some turnover in our food and beverage management, but I also think we've been able to fill some of those positions with quality managers. This past year, we experienced significant delays with construction as a result of a couple of surprises found at Founders Pool and the Founders Tennis Deck. Another recurring challenge is the fact that our facilities do continue to age, and we have to maintain and spend money to constantly improve them. We introduced a new amenity last year in croquet, and we had the challenge of building a new court to accommodate the increased demand for this sport. Overflow, as you will see later, is on our mind still, though we did see overflow decline for the 4th straight year. Lastly, and this too is recurring, and we don't have a whole lot of control over this one, that's the weather. We've chosen a beautiful area and community in which to live and to work, but one of the drawbacks is the potential for hurricane, strong storms, and large amounts of rain. Thankfully, it's not snow, but 20 inches of rain in a day is a little excessive. And all these storms create flooding, which we continue to figure out ways to mitigate. Homeowner flooding issues that are often brought to our attention. And most recently, we've seen sinkholes as a result of the stormwater drainage and piping issues. Some of these are challenges that are within our control, some of them are not. I'm confident in saying that every one of these we've improved and we continue to work on. Perhaps not totally fixed, but I do feel as though we've come out of it on the positive side with the measures that we've taken. And with that, we have a lot of work ahead of us. Plenty of opportunities for with room for improvement, but I can tell you this, we'll continue to put in the hard work and the time necessary to make improvements and to tackle these challenges that confront us in the coming year. Goals for the coming year. Again, some of my goals remain the same, and we have some new ones. I want to keep providing good, solid, constant communication to you, the members, with complete honesty and transparency. And that goes not just for myself, but that goes for our whole team in the communications that we send out. I try to do this through regular emails every month and through our weekly departmental updates. And with my regular communications, as mentioned before, I do receive quite a few emails from the members, and it's my job to have a finger on the pulse of the membership, and these emails, along with my regular visits to all of our amenities, seeing the members and the staff, help me accomplish this. Listening is a big part of my job, and determining what is in the best interest of the overall membership is important when weighing all factors into a particular decision. Another way that I work to determine what the membership wants is through weekly executive management meetings, bi-weekly department head meetings, weekly food and beverage management meetings, and weekly golf pro meetings. I can assure you that pretty much anything and everything happening relative to the clubs comes up at those meetings. So related to having a finger on the pulse of the membership is our efforts to provide value for the dues dollar that you, the membership, pay. We'll continue to work hard to provide good value for the dues dollar for our various amenities and for each of our 3 membership categories: golf, sport, and social. Achieving consistency in food and beverage is always a huge goal, and I'll certainly be touching on that later. As you know, we rebranded our clubhouse restaurants this past year, or at least 3 of them, with the 4th launching in just more than 2 weeks. Our big goal is to refine those identities with the menu, quality of food and service, and decor. We had a very good year with our golf course conditions. Thank you to Dustin and his team. Obviously now our objective is to maintain those good conditions and to improve. I continue to work closely with the POA and with the town to provide the best experience possible for members and residents. Bill Lend, president of the POA, St. James Mayor Gene Toner, Jim Crum, who's president of the Fire Board, and Jay Atkinson, who represents the developer and St. James Properties, are all great to work with. Currently, I meet with Mayor Toner, Bill Lend, and Jim Crum on a monthly basis to share what's going on with the clubs and with their respective amenities, and to see how we can all help each other. Our team and I work closely with the various clubs outside entities, from the MGA, the LGA, Niners, 101ers, the SJTA, the SJPA, the SJCA. I think I got them all. And Brandy and I attend the board meetings of the Tennis, Pickleball, and Croquet Associations. I do my best to create a positive culture among our associates and our members, feeling that it all starts with me and it filters down. I work hard to get to all the clubhouses on a regular basis, to touch base with managers and staff, and they know that my door is always open and I'm receptive to visits and input from all of them. I meet daily with our Director of Agronomy, Dustin, to discuss golf course conditions, and we take regular rides on the courses to view the courses. I attend the weekly F&B management meetings and the weekly golf pro meetings, as mentioned earlier, both of which help me communicate our goals to each of those teams and for me to know what's going on in their respective worlds. One of management's goals is to build a winning team and to create growth potential for our associates, whether it be within the clubs or within Troon. This past year, Rob Carruthers, Assistant Director of Food and Beverage, he's taken part in Troon's leadership program. And this is a program designed to give managers experience in all departments to prepare them for greater management roles with the clubs or Troon. And Rob will be graduating from this program in the next month. Finding staff within the region is not always the easiest, so it's so important to take current staff and management and improve upon their talents and skills. We promote from within, and with our size, we're able to help other Troon managed properties by sending managers to assist. In fact, this past year, one of our executive sous chefs has become part of Troon's culinary task force, spending time helping other clubs. With that move, we hired a 3rd executive sous chef, and we'll continue to focus our attention on retaining, recruiting, and attracting our current talent and future talent. We will continue to develop strategies to upgrade and refresh the aging facilities and amenities that we currently have, with Seaside Pool being at the top of that list. We made strides this past year on addressing and reducing overflow, but we still have some distance to travel on that issue. Lastly, we'll continue to consider other potential amenities that may be of interest to our members. And croquet is the best example of this, as the sport has grown in less than 2 years with more than 190 members in its association. Lastly, as I just mentioned, I intend to get the Seaside Pool project over the finish line, with the first phase being completed for next pool season's opening. And I'll show you some more detailed plans later in the presentation and an explanation of our phasing plan. Survey results. This year we received more than 2,700 surveys. That represents nearly 50% of the total possible surveys sent out. An excellent return, though slightly less than last year. I think that's terrific, as it shows me that you, the membership, care by sharing your thoughts on how we're performing. Thank you to Brandy for reading all those survey comments and compiling them in summary form so that they can be distributed to our management team and corrective actions can be taken. Resident members again represented 52% of the surveys complete. Resident members represented 92% of the surveys completed. And golf members represented slightly less than half of the surveys returned at 46%, social at approximately 29%, sport members at 24%. So the metric that we look at most closely is the NPS score, Net Promoter Score. Unfortunately, we slid this past year to 20 after last year's 22, up from the previous 2 years of 17 and 18. This year's score is lower than what we as a management team are satisfied with, and we've got work to do, again, and I know I said that last year. That said, there were definitely areas that we improved upon, particularly on the golf side. In performing a deeper dive, when you look at the NPS by member type, golf member satisfaction improved from 29 to 32. However, sport declined from 21 to 17, and social dropped from 9 to 3. I believe our attention to the golf courses, with the overseeded course transitions being successful, and the continued efforts to reduce overflow were instrumental in raising our scores with the golf members. We do have plans in place to improve the racket sport amenities with a resurfacing of the Reimer pickleball courts to happen in the spring, new Founders tennis deck, and the new bleachers and shade structure at PCSC. This past year, we took quite a few measures to improve areas which the social members and really all of our members utilize, from the rebranding of our restaurants, to redoing the Founders Pool and Deck, to adding brand new fitness equipment at Signature Wellness and MAC. But again, we have more to do, and it will start with food and beverage. But we also have grand plans to improve the Seaside Pool facility, with phase 1 starting this winter. Food and beverage quality and service both declined, again with more than enough comments to justify our plans to focus on improving the dining experience. The overall golf experience improved from last year, as did the conditions of the greens and the courses. Based on the success of last year's overseeding and the successful transition, we've overseeded 3 courses for the coming year. And again, I do think that the overseeding decisions show our willingness to make changes in the interest of providing better conditions and thus a better golf experience. Fitness improved slightly, while pools declined, largely due to the need to make improvements at Seaside and the delays we experienced at Founders. Tennis declined slightly this past year, but pickleball showed improvement. Croquet is new to our survey results, and we look forward to improving that score with the new court at Reserve. Lastly, our communication score rose slightly from last year to a very good 8.67. So let's look at action items this year that we took based on last year's survey. Begin work on Seaside Pool Complex. That's kind of a yes and no. More detailed plans have been finalized, and contractor pricing is being finalized. And I said we have a phase 1 that will be completed by pool season of 2025. Club car fleet replaced at Reserve and Players. Yes, that happened, and GPS was added. Shade structure for Seaside pickleball courts. Yes, and we also added 2 misters at the Reimer courts to help cool members. To help cool the members, not just Replace the Founders tennis deck. No, we didn't get that done. That will start in January. We learned quite a bit as they dug into the dirt and found that none of the pilings and the whole structure was not to code. So that will start in January 25. Again, of course, increased scope, increased cost by a lot. Adding limited towel service at Founders Pool. That did not happen, mostly due to Founders Pool not opening until the middle of the summer, but it is planned for the 2025 entire pool season at Founders. Bring in real food to assist with rebranding restaurant identities and evaluate F&B operations. Yes, we accomplished that with Reserve opening in mid-November. Evaluate the overseated courses with non-overseated courses for future considerations. Yes, 2 of them were done last year, and we've already overseated 3 courses for this coming year. Additional music nights at various locations weekly. Yes, every Sunday during the season we had music at Beacon, and every other Thursday at Reserve in the off-season we had to wind up and wind down. Updating fitness equipment at Mackin Signature Wellness. Yes, including new additional Peloton bikes at Signature Wellness. Action items for 2025 based on the 2024 survey results. Food and beverage. Always trying to achieve consistency in the quality of the food. Tweak the lunch menus. And try to figure out better acoustics in the restaurants. Golf. Enforcing the dress code. Consistency in the bunkers. Monitoring pace of play. Expanding merchandise offerings. Fitness, improving cleanliness and refresh the equipment at PCSC. Pool, improving cleanliness and monitoring of check-ins of guests at Seaside. Racket sports, increased programming of tennis and pickleball social events, and consider and look at heat protection at all the court areas, both pickleball and tennis. And lastly, croquet, continued improvement at the Players Club court. All of the above items are in our capital or operational plans for 2025. Please understand there's costs involved, some of them not insignificant to execute and implement, but I'm pleased to say that our initial presentations have been approved by corporate. As mentioned earlier, Brandy was the lucky one to pour through the hundreds of comments in the survey. Of course, it's always interesting to see the comments that are on both sides of an issue. What I've come to call our membership conundrum. So these are the perfect examples of the challenges we face in trying to manage the clubs in our membership. Unlike many private clubs, we here at St. James have a much wider demographic and diverse membership. Members who belonged to clubs before and those who have not. And with that come very differing opinions on everything we have to offer and how good we are in certain areas. When decisions are made, it is rare, it is very rare, that everyone is in agreement, as the decisions affect everyone differently. We appreciate the rebranding of the restaurants. Why did we need to rebrand? Keep the member-only day on Wednesdays at Seaside. Get rid of the member-only day at Seaside so we can bring our guests. Overseed. Don't overseed. We need more lap swim times. We need more free swim time. Menu prices are reasonable. Menu prices are too expensive. Remove the no guest policy at Signature Wellness. Signature Wellness is too crowded. The 9-minute tea times are working well. Get rid of the 9-minute tea times. And this is a good one. We love the new GPS on the carts. The GPS on the carts is stressful. It reminds us of pace of play. So yes, that's part of our fun. On to the golf courses. This year we're on track to reach 210,000 rounds, approximately 1,500 rounds more than last year, but about 2,500 less than our highest amount in 2020. With that many rounds, it obviously means there's quite a bit of foot traffic on the courses and cart traffic. Still, with the additional rounds, I'd say we had a very good year relative to golf course conditions, as evidenced by the survey results. This year again, we were helped by the guidance of the Greens Committee, chaired by Jim Wells. They continue to be a sounding board for us relative to what's happening, and they do a good job representing the membership with any questions and issues that they bring to the table. So after several years when we experienced early year challenges, we heard the membership loud and clear and committed to overseeding 2 courses, Reserve and Players. We are more than pleased to report that the overseed transitions went very well, and thankfully the non-overseeded courses performed well also. Our objective was to deliver better conditioned courses for 12 months, and the use of the application Sapphire worked, as the transition for the overseeded courses was not as dramatic as in the past. We were visited by Troon Corporate's lead agronomist in late spring, when he could see how the transition went and how the non-overseeded courses were performing. And it's safe to say he was extremely pleased. Additional items to note include the application of curfew to address nematodes on reserve members and the greens at players. And all that only helps more to improve turf health. The team has continued to do additional tree work and trimming of underbrush to provide better growing conditions. We performed normal cart path repairs, and in the spring 2 bridges were replaced at Players 6 and Members 15. And of course they've done quite a bit of storm cleanup in the past couple of months. Fertilization has increased to promote better turf conditions, and they've improved irrigation in many areas to improve water quality and the efficiency of our pump stations. Lastly, due to the storms, the team's been dealing with more stormwater flooding and a result, sinkholes. Some of those sinkholes are a result of irrigation piping that's failed, that we resolved in-house, but others have been a result of stormwater pipes, and with those we've worked closely with the POA and their engineer Jack Nolan to address, using outside contractors. Later you'll hear more about the GPS that's now on the golf carts at Reserve and Players. The feature of geofencing, which essentially restricts carts from driving in certain areas, has also been a huge help to improving the health of the turf. It hasn't always been a help to those who wind up in the restricted areas, as they wind up doing the backwards crawl of shame. But I can assure you it does help the areas and the turf. I personally want to thank Dustin and his team for their efforts to deliver the golf course conditions that we and you all expect. I'm not saying there's not room for improvement. There always is. But it's been a good year. 25 golf course plans. Of course, the biggest plan for the coming year is the fact that we've overseeded 3 courses instead of 2, Players, Reserve, and Founders. We are resistant to doing 4 courses because we don't want to run the risk of having something negative happen, weather-wise or any way-wise, by putting all our eggs in one basket and then having all the courses in some kind of trouble. Members performed better than Founders last year, being non-overseeded, so we were confident that it again could survive the winter season better than Founders. So that said, assuming all goes well with this coming year again, members will be part of the rotation of 3 next year, with a plan to continue doing 3 in a constant rotation going forward. We will continue to monitor the nematode population through testing and apply curfew as needed. We look forward to receiving new rough mowing units in early 2025 that will help improve the quality of cut and the frequency of mowing. Shade reduction will continue with necessary tree removal, particularly those that impact the turf health on the tees. We've budgeted money to improve waste bunker areas. Tee enlargement is a major project that's necessary, particularly with the amount of rounds that we do each day. The next course that we are considering for irrigation improvement and replacement, and also replacement of greens, is Players. So we're developing a plan to address that. hopefully in 2026. We're still determining the best equipment to use to improve the maintenance and the conditions along and underneath the tree lines. What that means is we're still trying to figure out how to get rid of all those pine cones that continue to pile up. And Dustin's working on trying to find the right piece of equipment that can make that happen. This past year, one of the challenges we faced was the spread of Poania. Dustin and his team have a plan. They've already begun it with applications to better control the POA. They'll also continually assess bunker sand depths and work to have more consistency in the firmness in the bunkers. And lastly, we're working on creating better drainage on Founders 11, which saw extreme flooding during the 2 stretches of significant rains in August and September. Golf operations. First, congratulations to our 2024 men's and women's club champions, Mark Waslow and Kristen Shiflett, our senior men's and women's champions, Marty Alter and Keith Lee, and our super senior champion, James Curry. In addition, you can see the winners for the ladies and men's member championships, the mixed couples championship, parent-child championship, and the match play champions. Congratulations to all the winners. And I will say, everything I'm doing here in the slide presentation, it will be sent out afterwards too. This year again, we saw great participation in all of our events. So kudos to our tournament coordinator, Cole Graman, for his managing the tournaments, and to the Golf and Tournament Committee and the handicap committees for their oversight. Not a small task. In all, we had over 2,500 entries to all of the club events. This past year, we took on a huge task, working closely with Dave and Holly Williams and their volunteer committee members to host the Wounded Warrior Project golf outing in April. That tournament alone helped to raise more than $130,000 with 380 playing and over 400 for the dinner. Based on its success, we've just scheduled next year's event for Saturday, November 26th. Again, it's wonderful to see the support that our community gives to the military and veteran organizations, raising in excess of $300,000. And of course, the funds recently helped by the LGA, the Niners, the 101ers, in excess of $40,000 for the Little Pink Houses of Hope. This past year, we added GPS to the new carts at reserve and players, and I mentioned the benefit of the geofencing that helps to improve turf conditions, but it's also a huge help towards pace of play management for both members and staff. And I know members, they get stressed, as I said earlier, because they do get notified if they are falling behind in terms of pace of play. But it helps them, it helps us. We're able to see all the carts out there, and it shows up red if they're starting to fall behind. So it allows the pros to go out there and target whoever needs a talking to. In addition to the course maintenance or the maintenance of the pace of play help that it gives, it also gives a nice, pretty picture of the hole and how many yards you have to the hole, and it's a great feature that way. So as I said, this was a great upgrade, and I look forward to completing the entire fleet with GPS in early 2026, if not sooner. The results of the survey question about smoking after the golf committee approved a non-smoking policy on the practice ranges or the practice putting greens in the cart staging area. Not surprisingly, 92% of the members voted to not allow smoking in these areas, so this policy will stay in place for all of our course practice areas and cart staging areas. The golf committee created a subcommittee chaired by Jim Wells to review the 3-4 combo tees, to try to get the distances for the combo tees closer to halfway between the 3s and the 4s. That project is still underway. I would expect recommendations to be presented early next year to the golf committee. Our professional staff has done an awesome job of providing so many options for instructional programming. Led by head teaching pro Scott Newell, they do a terrific job of providing a wide array of instructional opportunities. This past year alone, they conducted 88 pop-up clinics. That's one every 4 days. 15 tour-level fitting events, 9 Operation 36 programs for beginners, 7 short game schools, 4 full swing schools, 53 ultimate, enhanced, or starter lesson programs, 12 Get Golf Ready programs, 17 Grow programs, 10 Red Zone programs, and 5 weeks of junior camps. Impressive is an understatement. Here's a breakdown of the golf rounds played this year. As you can see, projected through the end of the year, we're on track to finish just under 210,000 rounds. Of the rounds played, nearly 90% have been played by golf members. This is roughly the same as last year. In fact, when including sport and social members, St. James Club members played more than 94% of the total rounds this year. Our next slide shows overflow statistics that many golf members are interested in. So on this slide, you can see the total number, you can see that the average has declined each of the past 4 years, which essentially returns it to pre-COVID averages. With all that, percentage of rounds on overflow declined for the 4th straight year to 6.2% as compared to 2021, when nearly 10% of requested rounds went on to overflow. Keep in mind also that this year's overflow percentage includes an elevated number in October, when overseeding was done on 3 courses. Again, I do qualify this as progress, but we're still looking at ways to reduce the overflow. And I will add, if you feel as though you are being overflowed more than normal, please reach out and we'll take a look at your history and tee time requests to see if there's anything we can help you with. Please also realize that we, like most other private clubs, we do have occasional events. Most of ours are internal, and golf course maintenance days when there is closure. For the most part, I do believe that the switch to the 9-minute intervals has worked. Overall, I still don't feel that the pace of play is a significant issue, but it does come up occasionally, and more often than not, the longer round is due to 1 or 2 particular groups that are taking too long, and it's on us as a team to monitor and address as quickly as possible. Easier to do at Players Reserve, where we've got the GPS feature. Founders and members, we've got to get out there and keep an eye on who's taking longer, where holes are opening up. So we do intend to stress the importance of pace of play with videos and regular reminders throughout the year, and have our professional staff on the courses to keep pace of play acceptable. 25 golf operations, again, we talked about 9-minute tee time intervals, and they're here to stay. We do believe that they're working to increase, helping to increase tee time availability. We will continue to have half-day closings instead of full day, except when there are certain maintenance applications necessary for full-day closures. We're working with the golf cart companies to see if there's any chance of moving up our new fleet delivery for founders and members up to late 2025. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll continue to monitor pace of play and stress the importance to our pro shop staff and to our members. Lastly, we intend to expand, enhance, offer a wide variety of instructional opportunities for all the members wanting to improve their golf games. Plus, we're going to look to improve and add more choices in the pro shops and more variety for merchandise. Another congratulations goes to our super senior men's team, who is participating in the tournament championship for the Carolina Golf Association at Pinehurst tomorrow and Wednesday, trying to repeat last year's championship. They're competing against 3 other teams, and I'm sure I will let the membership know as they let me know how they did later this week. Team members competing are as follows: Phil Boyer, co-captain; Brett Palladino, Robert Farrell, Kurt Mumaw, Bill Albrecht, Rod Bland, Kurt Thompson, Captain Keith Lee, Jim Wells, Marty Sobel, Bill Whalett, Bob Brown, Clay Whedon, John Vig, and new additions this year are Rich Chapman and Tim Kelly. So congratulations to them. Hopefully they bring that championship home again. Food and beverage operations. Based on past annual membership survey results, our primary objective going into this year was to create specific identities for all of our 5 restaurants. We hired Real Food Hospitality Strategy and Design to assist us with that task. Early this year, we sent out another survey to the entire membership specific to food and beverage, asking many questions, but most importantly, what types of cuisine do you prefer, most popular days of the week to dine, and price points that you want to spend. We took that information and worked with Real Food to implement exactly what you, the membership, asked for. What we understood loud and clear also was the fact that quality of food and service was the most important thing when it came to an enjoyable dining experience. Not the name of the restaurant or the decor, but the quality of the food and service. And that is absolutely what we focused on. That said, when it comes to rebranding, it also makes sense that both the name and the decor match the identity of the restaurants. And again, that's exactly what we've done. The identities themselves were what the survey results from the membership told us to do, and I really am pleased that all of our restaurants do have specific identities, which they never have before. Seafood Casual at Beacon 315. Comfort, home-style cooking cuisine, pantry at members. Italian, Mangiare at Players. Sports bar, pizza pub, Aces at Founders. And Steakhouse, it's Prime at Reserve. In addition, we took the results from the survey relative to the most popular days of the week to dine, and also used past actual data of cover counts on each particular day at each particular restaurant, and we adjusted the days of operation for the restaurants. This all represented a major change in our food and beverage operation. We turned your respective worlds upside down by changing menus and of course changing days of the week. Your normal routines were disrupted, not to mention the fact that in order to achieve our goals with the rebranding, we needed to close restaurants for periods of time and shift events that had been reserved in one restaurant, primarily Reserve, and move them to another. Needless to say, we look forward to a more normal year in 2025 without the disruptions or the significant change that we all experienced in 2024. To summarize each of the restaurants, Pantry at Members launched first with its comfort food style concept. The Blackboard specials each week are extremely popular, and we did our best to convey the more casual dining aspect here. Next, we launched Mangiare at Players, our Italian theme. And this has been our most popular of the new identities. Chef Augusto has put together an authentic Italian menu, and I can confidently say that it competes with and is better than any of the Italian options available here in Southport and Oak Island. Most recently, we launched Aces at Founders. We added 3 more televisions and are promoting the sports viewing aspect, particularly with the NFL season in full swing. Come over on a Sunday afternoon and see the excitement our members have for their respective pro football teams. Yesterday alone was the busiest NFL Sunday we've had, with nearly 250 members attending to watch the Commanders beat the Giants. Hopefully everybody stayed to watch the Eagles game. It really is a fun atmosphere. We sell a lot of pizzas, wings, other snack-style food while incorporating heartier entrees each evening that we're open there. In fact, we'll be introducing pre-made pizzas for takeout that you can order. With this restaurant, I look forward to new restaurant manager Andrew Johnson continuing to listen to the membership as to what events they want to watch, and we'll do our best to accommodate to give it that sports bar pub feel. Just this past Saturday, we had an excellent crowd for the Ohio State-Penn State college football game. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah.
I look at Aces to be the venue for karaoke, music bingo, trivia nights, and again, Andrew's going to get a feel for what is popular and what you, the membership, want to see there. On this next slide, you can see the positive impact to our dinner cover counts for each of the new restaurants, the 3 new restaurant identities. When combining the new average cover counts compared to last year, you can see that we're averaging 25 more covers per night, led by Mangiare with nearly 40 more per night. We continue to hear really positive reviews at each of the restaurants, far outweighing the criticisms. We learned that live music is extremely popular when we have it at Beacon and any other restaurants. We increased the frequency in our live music, and that definitely brought the members to both Beacon on Sunday evenings, late afternoons, and to Reserve every other Thursday when we did the summer wind up and wind down in the off season. We incorporated a number of new events this past year that were well attended, including music bingo, German beer fest featuring local breweries, Rock and Roots hosted plant parties, a shag dancing night, and a chopped themed dinner event to benefit Coast, the local high school that specializes in, has a specialty in culinary. This next slide shows a comparison of our pricing with other local restaurants, keeping in mind that our pricing includes the 10% discount that all Signature members get for their food. This comparison is clear evidence that our prices are much lower in comparison to what is being charged outside the gates. And here's a snapshot of the events that we've held this past year. Peel and Eat Shrimp Nights, daily fresh catch specials at Beacon 315, karaoke both at Aces and Founders and at Seaside, Chef's Tables, Craft Beer Club Brewery Tour, where those in the beer club went to Wilmington and visited several breweries. Went to Leland and visited several breweries. Thank you, Lindsay.
That was the same day, right?
Paint your pet, Rock and Roots. It wasn't literally paint your pet, it was paint a picture of your pet. Easter Extravaganza and Easter Brunch, our summer concert series, 2 live lobster sales, with the second one for pickup this Friday, the German Beer Fest, Thanksgiving to go, and then the summer wind up, wind down. We know that special events are really popular, and we plan on continuing to offer a wide variety of events that can appeal to all of our demographics within clubs, including more chef's tables to showcase the talents of our chef and executive sous chefs and our chef de cuisine. So what to expect in 2025? I will say again that I expect a much more settled year in terms of food and beverage. Prime at Reserve will be opening in just more than 2 weeks as our steakhouse theme, and I'm confident you'll like what you see and taste. Clubhouse is finishing up a total refresh with all the floors refinished, new carpeting, painting, new furniture, fixtures, light fixtures. The menu, of course, will be heavy on the meat with the steakhouse theme, with a combination of prime cuts of meat and more affordable cuts of choice and/or certified Angus beef. We do understand that there needs to be a balance in pricing and entree options, so there will also be fish, chicken, and vegetarian options. Please note that the prime rib nights that have always been at Players will understandably be switching to prime at Reserve beginning in December, and I've already put the pressure on the chef at Prime that it needs to be as good, if not better, than what we get at Players. And brunches will be featured on Saturdays and Sundays at Prime, shifting from the Sundays at Players. Next week you can expect a video to come out promoting Prime at Reserve, as we've done with the other 3 launches. Our biggest goal with respect to our food at the restaurants will be to refine these concepts and to deliver quality food, quality service for good value. We said in the beginning that we needed to see what sells, what doesn't, and take member feedback over the first months before making any changes. So we're going to be tweaking the menus based on that. We'll be making some changes to our lunch menus to have a better balance of traditional type items to offset the themed options. We know we need to have some items, like tuna salad, chicken salad, Caesar salads, club sandwiches, that type of food. And we will look to bring back a couple lunch items that had become staples in the past and continue to be asked for, like the taco salad at members. not everybody, right? As we look to tweak our menus, we will focus on ensuring that there are healthy options too on the menus. We will continue to feature music, often at Beacon 315 and Prime Reserve. Since closing Reserve last month, we saw the staff micro market become more popular, so we're looking to continue that, at least during the busier golf season. We also look forward to enhancing and expanding the beer and wine club offerings. Both of them rose in popularity this past year, and I can tell you that the menus provided for the events for both of these clubs are extremely well done by our culinary team. In summary, I again want to emphasize how much we understand how important it is for us to provide good quality food and service. That is what you expect, that is what we expect, and this past year we experienced a lot of change, and we do look forward to a more settled year. Consistency in food and beverage, and quality in particular, is our greatest challenge, and it's safe to say it is the greatest challenge in virtually every private club. One bad meal often ruins your impression of a particular restaurant. 2 weekends ago, my family and I, we went to Charlotte, had reservations for brunch at what's considered one of the city's better restaurants. Really good reputation. And we had a terrible experience with food and service. I get it. After going there, we walked away saying, well, we're not going to go there again. More often than not, I really believe that we do get it right. We absolutely did right in creating the specific identities for each of our restaurants. It allows our team to focus on one particular theme, but we still don't get it right often enough, as evidenced by the survey results and comments. Furthermore, when an experience isn't right, you'll often convey your disappointment to others, and that impacts the perception that others have and whether they want to dine there or not. Our focus will remain strongly on the quality of food, the training of our service team, and of course recruiting talent for both front of the house and the back. I do hope you continue to support the restaurants, provide constructive feedback to the managers at each of the respective restaurants and to myself, so that we can work to make the appropriate adjustments so we can deliver the dining experiences that you deserve. I'm going to finish my discussion on food and beverage with this quote from a member's email that I received this past weekend. I'm somewhat overdue regarding our dining experience at the Beacon, which was a couple of months ago, and our most recent experience at the Players Club restaurant last night. I had company who joined us at Beacon and local friends of the clubs at Players. Both experiences were exceptional regarding service, ambiance, cuisine, and pricing. In the past, we would shy away from eating dinner at the clubs, but I now have a whole new view. To that, I'm excited for the opening of Reserve and to try Founders. Whatever you're doing, please keep it up. On a side note, the golf courses were and are in excellent shape. Big thanks to your personnel staff. By no means am I standing up here saying we've climbed the mountaintop. I get it, but I do believe progress is being made and we've got work ahead of us. But I do hope you give us the opportunity, like this member, to prove that we can deliver good dining experience. It's all about doing it consistent. Tennis. More congratulations are in order to our tennis club champions. Mixed open doubles, Lori Kuiper and Cliff Zoller. Mixed 7.0 doubles, Susan Wilson and Dean Wilson. Mixed 6.0 doubles, Donna O'Mara and Mike Consoletti. Women's 7.0 doubles, Lindy Wagner and Andrea Zoller. Women's 7.0 doubles, Kathleen Murphy and Deb Williams. Men's 6.0 doubles, Jeff Moore, Danny Catola. Men's 7.0 doubles, Gary Milner and Mike Osborne. And the men's open, Jerry Claywater and Cliff Zoller. Club singles champions will be decided in December. So this past year, Brian and his team added strategy round robins to the tennis programming, and the number of tennis boot camps increased this year. A new tennis ball machine membership program for frequent users was launched, and we again hosted the USTA State Combo Championships. 3 separate Tennis Pro exhibitions were held, and based on member feedback and input, the format of the 3 club championship tournaments was revamped. More than $8,000 was raised for the Children's Cancer Partners of the Carolinas, and the tennis shop was given a much-needed facelift with more natural light and a small snack and beverage area available. More congratulations are in order. Huge kudos to the 6.5 combo men's team who won their league. Qualified for the state championships by beating defending state champion Compass Point at Compass Point 17-15 in the third set tiebreaker. And just this past weekend, our team won the state championship with a 3-1 record. The team of champions was as follows. Captain Dave Felios, I think as the last shot was hit, he emailed me, "We won!" Co-captain Bob Murphy, Tom Galligan, Kevin Daly, Don Murphy, Fred Broyles, Michael Visconti, Brett Arsenault, Mike Miller, Jeff Moore, Brian Murphy, and Jim Contoulis. Congratulations to any of them. If you know them, give them your congratulations. Quite an accomplishment. 2025 tennis. As you may be aware, we ran into a couple of snags with the completion of the Founders tennis deck, mainly learning once the pilings were assessed that the deck replacement wasn't all that was needed. The entire area needed replacement, along with all the underpinnings, so the scope, timing, and cost of the project increased dramatically. In the interest of not disrupting the Founders pool goers, who already had been disrupted with the later opening, it was decided to delay this project until the new year. So beginning in January, this project will get underway, and it's expected to be completed by the end of March, so as not to impact the Founders pool season. We plan on adding bleachers and a shade structure at Players Club Sports Center, so the BCTA matches can be held there in addition to Founders. Having added misters to the pickleball courts, the Reimer courts, we are assessing our cooling options at all 4 tennis locations to determine what more may be needed to keep our tennis players cool and safe. Brian and his team will be launching a new adult red ball tennis program, a pilot program that comes from the USTA. Lastly, we're hoping to host a high school exhibition in the spring, as it's always a treat to see high quality tennis played and how good the younger generations are. Pickleball. This past year, a survey was conducted relative to the court reservation system that we currently use, wanting to gather information in the interest of being as fair as possible when it comes to members making reservations. The results indicated that the status quo should remain. A couple of small tweaks have been made in reserving the courts to make it a little more fair, meaning trying to reduce seeing the same names on the courts all the time. We will continue to monitor that in the coming year and, of course, listen to member feedback, but for the time being, the system in place will remain. Our resident pickleball pro, Kim Mine, has done a wonderful job promoting the game and doing her best to offer an assortment of learning opportunities. She initiated beginner series instructional clinics, more advanced skill clinics, and she held 2 separate pickleball camps. This past September, she held the first Pickleball Pros exhibition, pitting pros playing in a tournament, and also incorporating members into the play with the pros. I'm also pleased to say that the whiteboard open play has finally gained a stronghold in popularity, as it's held Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 10 to 11:30. What can you expect in 2025? Reimer courts will be resurfaced early in the year. Kim's planning 2 new clinics for those preparing for competitive league play with an emphasis on strategy. And lastly, Kim will be scheduling instructional round-robin clinics. Fitness and wellness. The most exciting development from this past year was the fact that New Life Fitness strength equipment was purchased for both Members Athletic Club and Signature Wellness. Several new pieces were added to enhance the member workouts, including independent tricep and bicep machines, a plated loaded leg press, chest press, back pull down, a glute bridge, and a seated row. Whatever all those do. In addition, Sean, what do those do? In addition, new Pelotons were purchased for Signature Wellness, with 3 more than what we had previously. The number of available group classes increased from 60 last year to 71 this year. On average, 334 members participate in our group classes per month, with nearly 2,000 personal training sessions having been given, and 156 have participated in the small group sessions. Since the new equipment was delivered, 423 members took part in orientations to familiarize themselves. Keeping in mind, those deliveries were made only a few months ago, so that 423 is only in a few months. It's awesome seeing our members wanting to take care of their bodies using our fitness centers each and every day. 2025. So this coming year, we plan on adding new fitness equipment to the PCSC to offer more options and effectiveness in training. We'll continue to offer the latest in group programming options and any new emerging trends. We plan on offering more small group functional fitness offerings using resistance equipment along with cardiovascular improvement. And with the popularity of the annual aerobics fee, this will be offered again in January. Spa services. For those of you who are not aware, we do offer spa and ortho services at MAC. Helping with skin, mind, and soul, we have Shannon Hester, who offers a full menu of anti-aging skincare treatments, along with medical-grade skincare products. Her services include cleansing facials to dermal rejuvenation treatments. We also feature Dr. Matthew Landfried at the MAC, where he offers help for orthopedic needs and treatments. For more information, you can stop by the MAC or check on the website. 24 swimming pools. So in 2024, the Founders Pool body was completely rebuilt, including all of the piping. Until the cement wall and the decking was opened up, we didn't realize that there were multiple leaks, pretty much requiring an entire overhaul of the piping. And while it took longer than we had hoped, the finished product turned out excellent. All of the handrails at Founders were replaced. We changed the members only day from Mondays to Wednesdays. And for the most part, I think that went well. It was appreciated by the members who visited, though of course it wasn't appreciated by those who wanted to bring guests. We put more of an emphasis with the pool monitors to check member IDs, and there were definitely times that members reached out to me and noticed. That said, we still have a long way to go to get our pool monitors focused on checking IDs, walking around the pool, cleaning up, etc., and not looking at their phones. That again is a big targeted focus for us next year. Sean and I have discussed the possibility of incorporating Carolina Swim and their staff, giving them an even greater role to being a part of our team here. We also talked about the potential of opening later on one particular day just to give Carolina Swim and our staff that much more of an opportunity to do a more detailed cleanup. So 2025 swimming pools. Knowing Founders will be open for all of next year's pool season, we'll be adding towel service to Founders Pool next year, along with a monitor to watch over the pool and our members. Members only days will continue staying on Wednesdays. We'll look to add and or tweak our popular events from concerts to the adult float night to the puppy plunge. Here's an interesting number for all of you. Total number of reservations for pool lap lanes, 10,443. Sounds like we need like another dozen pools, don't we? Okay, on to the Seaside Pool Project. This project is going to be broken down into 3 phases. First phase will be adding new furniture, chases, chairs, umbrellas, towel receptacles, trash bins. There's going to be a facelift refresh to the areas that need paint, general maintenance improvements, including the bathrooms. That all will happen ready for the opening of the 25 pool season. Phase 2 will be actual construction. That's going to be creating the pathway from the back parking lot along the fence line and the retention pond to a new entrance. The stage will be moved to the grassy area that separates the pool and the sand volleyball area, and that area will become a children's play area. That plan is to happen after next year's pool season, beginning in the middle of September, giving ample time to get permitting, complete the construction, and be ready for the 26 pool season. Phase 3 will entail creating a new kitchen and grill bar area, building, and a new bathroom, which will improve flexibility in food and bar service to the members, both at the pool and for tennis or pickleball players outside between the pool and the tennis pickleball court areas. This past year, we've worked not only with the architect, but with engineers and a contractor who will help us get to that finish line with Brunswick County. Not an easy task, and a pool contractor engineer. I can assure you that nothing happens quickly in Brunswick County, and as I work closely with Troon Corporate, we've created a more detailed set of design drawings so that we can get the most accurate pricing possible. One thing that cannot happen is starting this project and not being able to deliver and open the pool in a timely fashion. I dealt with that enough this past year with founders. This picture is an overview of the proposed plan. And again, you can see some of the new important elements as I go on to the next slide. And again, this will be sent out so that you can view it from the email that we sent. This will give better efficiency, I think, with the use of the available parking areas, with the walkway, boardwalk from that back lot to the front area. And then the entry itself will also shift over closer to actually where the stage is now. With the food and beverage snack bar area, we expect to provide better service, not only for the pool, but to the tennis and pickleball folks, with a window in the back, and an enlarged bar area will give us more area to take food orders while having more storage space so we can enhance our menu. And again, we'll be creating a new bathhouse building. And again, this setup will give us a better way in for tennis pickleball players, their own bathroom once inside the gates, and easier access to order food when they're when they're either playing or attending any special events like pro doubles exhibitions. Croquet. Yes, still somewhat in its infancy. But in saying that, the SJCA membership has grown to nearly 200 members in this short time. Its growth has been strong, and so strong that this past year, we built a new court at Reserve. Pretty great that nearly every time I visit Reserve, and with the refresh work happening at Reserve these days, I'm there nearly every day, that I see 4 to 6 to 8 members dressed all in white enjoying the game of croquet at all hours of the day. There are 2 types of croquet. Golf croquet and 6-wicket. Golf croquet has tended to be more popular and regular clinics are scheduled. We're going to have 6-wicket croquet clinics coming up in 2025. 2 more instructors became certified through the U.S. Croquet Association, and we're really excited to bring croquet pro Jeff Sue and current Bald Head Island pro into our program this coming year. We've been in discussions with him, and he's agreed to help us with clinics, lessons, officiating of events, etc. Our members have been competing regularly in local and national croquet events, and we've established a great relationship with the players at Bald Head Island to have regular matches. One of the highlights this year was our grand opening at Reserve. Delayed by the tropical cyclone for a week, but we still had pro Jeff Sue and his wife Eileen, an accomplished player in her own right, pro James Creasy, and representatives from a couple of other clubs join us, and they even competed in an exhibition as evidenced by the pictures on the screen. The continued growing interest in croquet is thrilling, and it's fun to watch. If you haven't taken it up, take a walk over, watch it for yourself. It's pretty cool to see. Member relations and member communications. Our relatively new Director of Member Relations, Brandy Donnelly, did a terrific job organizing the most robust schedule of events for Member Appreciation Week that we've ever had. You can see pictures of members enjoying several of the activities that we offered. This slide is a small summary of what we scheduled during the week relative to every amenity. We had music nearly every day at one of the restaurants, multiple instructional clinics held by the golf pros, exhibitions by our pros in tennis, various skills challenges and play with the pro events in pickleball, and of course our grand opening to the Reserve Croquet Court. We even had tutorials for website and mobile app assistance, landscaping tips from our own horticulturalist, pop-up merchandise sales, and discounts on all merchandise. In addition to helping members with any questions they might have related to membership, Brandy's worked closely with the Director of Communications, Kim Adams, on creating a master calendar of events. This calendar includes every department's events, tournaments, special activities, all color-coded, so that it'll be easier for you to navigate your own schedule within the clubs. For an example, you can see what we offered in October. On the communication side, a big thank you to our outstanding Director of Communications, Kim Adams. In addition to the email communication that you see on a daily, weekly basis, there are other ways to stay in touch with what we have to offer. Kim does an awesome job creating videos of various special events and adding that content to the website and to social media. Each member has their own unique online profile associated with their member number. Not only can you view what's happening on the website, but you have the ability to view your monthly statements and other important club documents. You can update your profile, select which emails you wish to receive. You can view past email archives, book tee times, court reservations, tennis, pickleball, croquet, lap swimming reservations, and you can make dinner reservations and sign up for fitness classes, all on the mobile app or the website. The mobile app is a direct extension of the website, and it's available on your phone or tablet anywhere, anytime. You can also view YouTube to see videos of some of our various events. This slide offers an example of the communication that we have on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I will say that this past year we began a separate Facebook page for members to reach out with any questions or comments that they might have. In September, we discontinued our presence on that page because it just wasn't serving the purpose for which we originally intended. Oftentimes there seemed to be posts that just weren't appropriate, and at times it became a platform for members to pile on, when we also know there are more than a few ways to contact me or any of the other managers by email, phone, member connect, in person, etc. Also, just recently, some members were experiencing issues with getting onto the mobile app, and we worked long and hard with Members First, our provider, to correct this issue. 2024 membership. Stats through September 30th. You can see that throughout the year, going back to the end of last year, we've gained 68 new members. We lost approximately 45 members at the end of last year. We've gained 188 during the course of the year, but have seen another 90 sell their homes and resign. In addition, there's been an increase of 55 resident members from non-resident. While we continue to have about 80% of the properties within the community having membership, that includes the lots that have not been built upon. Homes or lots owned by builders, condo owners, and members who own multiple properties within St. James. So when you remove all of those, the number of members is closer to 90% of the homes within the community. So there is very, very little room for any more growth. Understanding too, that of those 10% non-members, quite a few of them are former members who have aged out, or those who have no intention of joining. 2025 membership. Beginning in 2025, the initiation fee will be increasing by $5,000 from $25,000 to $30,000. The residents will still have a 30-day incentive deadline to join. Dues will be increasing for 2024 for 2025 by 9% across the board for all three membership categories: golf, sport, and social. With the significant capital outlay that we've made and the addition of overseat on 3 courses, along with the other treatments and work being done on the golf courses, including increased wages and staffing, we felt the 9% was reasonable. In addition to the golf course treatments, quite a bit of other work was done this year. Between the Founders Pool, the rebranding of the restaurants, to GPS being included in the carts at Reserve and Players, to all the new fitness equipment at Mac and Signature Wellness, to the brand new croquet court. We worked hard to improve our amenities, all of our amenities. And with those improvements comes a cost, and with the need to improve our aging amenities, there comes a cost. The upcoming Seaside project alone is slated to cost at least $2 million. Again, I remind you that we do not charge any capital assessment like the majority of other private clubs. We're also doing our best to stay competitive when it comes to paying our associates. And staffing remains one of our biggest challenges, and in order to retain and recruit, we have to pay more, and rising labor costs remains top financial risk for clubs in the future. We took a look also at what other similar type clubs charge in terms of dues and initiation fees, and we remain below, and in some instances well below that comp set. The next couple slides show our fees as compared to several other similar amenities, similar facilities. You'll be able to view these slides in more detail when we send out a link to the slides and the video presentation later this week. Here's a summary of our capital expenditures over the past 5 years. Prior to the Troon acquisition, an average of $800,000 was spent on capital. In the past 5 years, keeping in mind Troon's now owned for 7 years, but in the past 5 years of Troon's ownership, an average of $2.6 million has been spent on capital, with 3 of those 5 years exceeding $3 million. Projected budget for 2025 is again in excess of $3 million. And without capital assessments, the capital projects need to be paid with increased dues. So what's in the plans for capital spending in 2025? As mentioned earlier, a big project for 2025 and early 26 is the seaside pool enhancement. In addition, we plan on completing phase 2 for the restaurant rebranding with new carpet at Players and Members, with some additional upgrades in the clubhouses. The new deck at Founders Tennis, new decking on the Members Club deck just out here, the design for the Players Club irrigation system along with plans to redo the Players Club greens, new fitness equipment at PCSC, bleachers and a shade structure at PCSC Tennis, a shade structure at the new croquet court at Reserve, continued repair and replacement of bridges on the golf courses, and a replacement of our pumping station at Players Club Golf Course. That's again a pretty healthy list of improvements. We recognize the need to spend money in order to continue to provide quality offerings and amenities. We will not be changing, on the golf side, we will not be changing anything in terms of round limitations for social and sport members, and they'll still be able to make tee times up to 4 days prior. The annual cart plan will increase by $10 per month for family, $5 per single, and the daily cart fee will increase by $1 per round. And fees for sport and social members to play golf will increase, as will normal guest fees. Food and beverage minimum. The minimum will increase from $800 annually to $950, or $237.50 per quarter for resident members, and non-resident members minimum will increase from $200 to $220. Additional benefits. What else can you take advantage from us being Troon owned? Troon Purvey program. Nearly 50% of our members have taken advantage of it this past year, and it's a tremendous benefit. We see far more of our members taking advantage of it than outsiders coming to us. If you're not aware and you want to learn more about the Troon Purvey program, please contact us and we'll help fill you in on what this entails and the clubs that you can visit and play with significant discounts. Troon also has a similar reciprocity agreement with Cliff Drysdale Tennis, inviting our members to experience exclusive privileges and rewards online and at some of the world's hottest racket sports camps and destinations. If interested, please let Brian know and we'll get you the information. Before I turn it over to you for questions, I want to take a moment to recognize Homer Wright, who passed away in July. Mr. Wright was the creator of St. James, and he would have turned 100 on September 7th. He's responsible for what we all have come to love after moving here from wherever we moved from. He was a true visionary, and we at Troon certainly are grateful to him for bringing Troon into St. James. We definitely do our best to fulfill the vision that he had to provide such a wide array of quality amenities for the membership. Thank you, everybody. Again, turn it over to questions, the video, and the video of this session and the slide deck will be sent out. Yes, sir.